25 years ago, a maternity nurse secretly switched me with her daughter. Fortunately, my 6-year-old brother discovered it and quietly switched me back. 25 years later, the maternity nurse arrived with her real daughter, accusing me, the heiress of Jiang Corporation, of being an imposter. Even the company janitor started gossiping about me, coming up to me and implying that my lipstick was dollar store brands. Even my boyfriend helped the janitor humiliate me. You think you're the Jiang family's daughter? You're not even a hair on Chelsea Zhu's head. After the DNA test results came out, everyone was dumbfounded. Ashley, I was seduced by that bitch. Please forgive me, give me another chance, okay? I glanced at him coldly. What chance? A chance to unclog the toilet? Just as I entered the company restroom, I ran into Chelsea Zhu, the new janitor. Chelsea Zhu's eyes landed on my hand applying lipstick. Her tone was frivolous and sarcastic. I never thought someone of MS Jiang's status would use such affordable things. This lipstick, you can get 3 for $19.99, and it comes with a gift box. How could that be? This was carefully selected for me by my boyfriend, Ryan Fong, through a proxy shopper, who said the brand was $2,000 for 3. Chelsea Zhu saw my face turn ugly and, realizing she had said the wrong thing, quickly scurried away. As soon as I left the restroom door, I saw Sarah Wei standing at the entrance of the mother's room, her face full of anger. I rarely saw her so angry, so I asked softly, and she poured out her story like beans from a bamboo tube. I was just in the mother's room to change baby's diaper, and who would have thought there would be a used dirty diaper on the changing table? Who is so unethical to do such a thing in the mother's room? It's infuriating. I don't even know if there are any dirty diseases. As the company's vice president, hearing such a thing, the anger instantly whooshed up. I immediately called security to have them investigate what happened on the surveillance footage. After explaining this matter, I turned and walked towards my boyfriend Ryan Fong's office. I planned to complain to him about this. As soon as I entered the office, I saw Chelsea Zhu, who had changed into a slightly transparent low-cut blouse, mopping the floor. Her cleavage was unfathomable. Ryan Fong glanced at me as I came in and hurriedly wiped his nosebleed. The climate has been dry lately, so you need to drink more water. Ashley, I was too busy with work just now and didn't hear you knock. I didn't suspect Ryan Fong's explanation. After all, we had been together since college, for 8 years. Have you forgotten that I never knock when I come to your place? Ryan Fong obviously became nervous. I was full of doubts and was about to ask, but Chelsea Zhu interrupted me. She spoke with veiled sarcasm from the side. MS Jiang, you should go to the store to buy cosmetics. Don't buy those cheap things for a few bucks on Wish/Dollar Store. After all, you can't be greedy for cheap things when it comes to things you put on your face. I was slightly stunned before realizing she was talking about lipstick. That lipstick was a Valentine's Day gift from Ryan Fong, so how could it be a cheap product with free shipping for $19.99 on Wish/Dollar Store? Ryan Fong was here, so I could make things clear. But before I could speak, he preemptively said, Ashley, the plan you mentioned before was very good, but I think there are still some areas that need to be modified. I was instantly drawn to his words, but I couldn't find a pen for a moment. Chelsea Zhu volunteered to help me get a pen, but she accidentally stumbled and fell right into Ryan Fong's arms. Her slightly transparent low-cut blouse was already extremely tight-fitting, and with this fall, the buttons on her chest burst open. In an instant, a scene of alluring beauty appeared before my eyes. Ryan Fong was at a loss, trying to help her button up her buttons, but the more nervous he became, the less he could button them. Chelsea Zhu was also in a panic, wanting to button up her buttons, but she couldn't button them up, and she started panting. Seeing the strange behavior of the two, I coughed a few times. Ryan Fong suddenly came back to his senses and pushed Chelsea Zhu away at once. Ashley, I just wanted to help her button up her buttons, it wasn't intentional. He wanted to ramble a few more words, but I interrupted him directly. Okay, go pour me a cup of coffee. I had known Ryan Fong for so long, and I knew his character very well. It must be Chelsea Zhu, the scheming green tea, who was playing tricks. It was good that I was alone with her, so I could ask her clearly. Who would have thought that Chelsea Zhu would get up from the ground with a grievance and walk out in front of Ryan Fong? Ms. Jiang, let me pour it for you. Chelsea Zhu came back with a cup of coffee not long after she went out. It was so fast, I didn't even need to look to know it was instant coffee. And I only drink freshly ground coffee. So, I frowned and didn't touch the coffee at all. Chelsea Zhu actually started to cry. Does Ms. Jiang dislike the coffee I made because it's dirty? I washed my hands clean before making it. Ryan Fong, who was usually obedient to me, spoke up from the side. Ashley, don't let Chelsea Zhu's good intentions go to waste. She hasn't had coffee before and doesn't know how to grind it, so just drink a sip. Seeing that I was still silent, Chelsea Zhu apologized while shedding tears. I'm sorry, Ms. Jiang, I come from an impoverished family. I've been hungry and cold since I was a child, and my mom would either beat me or scold me. I've never seen anything as good as coffee. I'm making you laugh. I was dumbfounded and couldn't understand why she suddenly became sentimental. But it seemed that Ryan Fong liked this, and his tone instantly became stern. Ashley Jiang, I really didn't expect you to be so unreasonable. It's just a cup of coffee. Is it necessary to be so serious and make things difficult for a little girl? You're already the vice president. Is it necessary to make things difficult for your subordinates? After saying that, he didn't care if the coffee was hot or not, picked it up and drank it all in one gulp. I didn't expect Ryan Fong to react so strongly. Even more unexpected was Chelsea Zhu's reaction. She rushed over and snatched the cup from Ryan Fong's hand. Manager Fong, don't drink it. Don't drink it. Not only me, but even Ryan Fong looked at her with confusion. Chelsea Zhu's eyes darted around, obviously guilty. So, I immediately called up the surveillance footage. Sure enough, Chelsea Zhu used toilet water to make my coffee. I was so angry that I burst into flames and questioned loudly, why did you do this? You better give me a reasonable explanation today. As I said that, I picked up my phone and planned to call the police. Unexpectedly, Ryan Fong snatched my phone away at once. Ashley, Chelsea Zhu is young and doesn't know any better. You don't have to be so serious with her. Besides, you didn't drink this coffee, and I didn't say anything after drinking it, so let's just let it go. Seeing Ryan Fong's attitude, the fire in my heart burned even more intensely. Why are you letting it go on my behalf? She looks older than my mom, and you're saying she doesn't know any better? I didn't drink this coffee, but she originally wanted me to drink it, but you drank it by mistake. If she can use toilet water to make coffee today, she can poison me tomorrow. Why can't I call the police? When Ryan Fong heard that I was determined to call the police, he wanted to smash my phone. Fortunately, I was quick-eyed and quick-handed and snatched the phone back. Just as I had secured my phone, Chelsea Zhu pushed Ryan Fong away and yelled at me, "You imposter, why are you occupying my position? Stealing my man?" Before I could figure out what the sentence meant, I received a video from security about the mother's room. I clicked on the video, which clearly showed Ryan Fong and Chelsea Zhu entering the mother's room one after the other, staying inside for a full hour before coming out. Looking further, Sarah Wei went in with her child and then came out angrily. Obviously, the dirty diaper was made by Ryan Fong and Chelsea Zhu. I never thought that my most trusted boyfriend would actually be messing around with a janitor behind my back. No wonder Ryan Fong was protecting Chelsea Zhu so much just now. Before I could even get angry, Ryan Fong simply stopped pretending. The person I truly love is Chelsea Zhu, not you, you imposter. Chelsea Zhu is gentle, kind, and considerate, but you put on a high and mighty act all day long. You probably can't imagine it, but the real heiress of Jiang Corporation is Chelsea Zhu, and you're just an imposter. Just then, the office door creaked open. My parents walked in, followed by a group of shareholders. My dad spoke first. "Ryan, you said there was an emergency, what's going on?" My mom also asked, "Yes, what could be related to the life and death of Jiang Corporation?" Ryan Fong glanced at me and said, "Uncle, Aunt, if you don't come, Jiang Corporation will be taken over by outsiders." The shareholders were shocked when they heard this and hurriedly asked me what was going on. I could only shake my head with a wry smile. I didn't know what was going on either. Chelsea Zhu walked up to my parents and knelt down with a plop. "Dad! Mom!" My parents were stunned and subconsciously stepped back. My dad reacted most strongly, pointing at Chelsea Zhu and shouting, "Who are you? I've never done anything to betray my wife, I only have these two children, Ashley and David Jiang." Chelsea Zhu said while sobbing, "Dad, Mom, Ashley Jiang and I were switched by Wanda Lane, the maternity nurse. I'm your real daughter. From childhood to adulthood, Wanda Lane would beat me and scold me whenever she was unhappy. I often didn't have enough to eat. When I was a child, I didn't understand why my mom was so cruel to me. Later, I accidentally saw the surveillance video from the maternity center from that year and realized that I wasn't her biological daughter at all." Many people present were moved to tears. But my dad had been through thick and thin, so how could he easily believe her words? "Do you have any evidence for what you're saying?" Chelsea Zhu hurriedly took out her phone and projected the surveillance video onto the big screen. More than 20 years ago, my mom stayed in a high-end maternity center, which had cameras installed. The video wasn't long. The screen showed a maternity nurse entering my mom's room, carrying out a baby, and then carrying a baby with the same clothes back in a little while. But after all, it was a recording from 20 years ago, and the picture quality wasn't very clear, so there was no way to determine whether the two children before and after were the same. After my mom watched it, she collapsed on the sofa like a deflated balloon and cried out with a wah. "How could this be? This is impossible. I was almost guarding the child day and night, how could she be switched?" Although my dad didn't say anything, his face obviously turned pale. Ryan Fong saw that they were a little shaken but still didn't quite believe it, so he wanted to put in more effort. "Uncle and Aunt, since the mistake has already been made, we have to correct it as soon as possible so that outsiders can't take advantage of it. We have to make up for the grievances Chelsea Zhu has suffered over the years." As he said that, he looked at me again. "Also, those who shouldn't be here in the first place have to be cleaned out." Many shareholders were also whispering there. That makes sense. Since Ashley Jiang isn't Jiang family's biological daughter, then she certainly can't occupy the position of vice president. Yes, after all, she's an outsider, who knows when she'll turn her elbows outward. Let's not talk about how to deal with Ashley Jiang. We definitely have to take Chelsea Zhu back and cultivate her well first. I didn't have the heart to pay attention to them because I was watching the video repeatedly. I always felt that someone in it looked familiar. Ryan Fong saw it and sneered, "Don't watch it. Even if you watch this video until it's worn out, you can't change the fact that you're an imposter. The truth is right in front of you, how can you still have the face to sit here?" Chelsea Zhu hurriedly opened her mouth. "Bro Ryan, don't say that. Ashley Jiang didn't do anything wrong. Give Ashley Jiang some time to accept it, and she will leave on her own." I rolled my eyes at the two of them, ignored their words, and asked directly, "Who is the little boy following Wanda Lane?" Everyone was stunned by this question. Everyone's attention was on Wanda Lane, and no one noticed the little boy following her. Chelsea Zhu started to cry. Why is Ashley Jiang trying to change the subject? Is it that important who this boy is? I've suffered so much for you, don't you feel any guilt? Ryan Fong stepped forward and hugged Chelsea Zhu, then glared at me fiercely. Ashley Jiang! You're really stubborn and unrepentant. The point isn't who that boy is, it's that the two of you were switched. You've been occupying what Chelsea Zhu should have all these years, and she's been suffering for you. The shareholders on the scene also sneered at me. Ashley, we've watched you grow up. We've always thought you were quite sensible, otherwise we wouldn't have elected you as vice president. But your performance today is really disappointing. It's fine if you don't express your opinion on such an important occasion, but you're still changing the subject here. Looking at the faces of these people in front of me, it really was true that when a wall falls, everyone pushes it. I tried to calm myself down, ignored their expressions, and turned to look at my mom. Mom, don't you think that little boy looks a little familiar? My mom suppressed her grief and looked at the video again, then exclaimed, "Isn't that David Jiang? What's he doing following Wanda Lane? Did he find out that his sister was switched? Why didn't he tell the adults?" Everyone on the scene was stunned when they heard this and hurriedly urged, "Call David Jiang quickly and have him come back." My brother was on a business trip abroad. Even if he immediately put down what he was doing and rushed back, it would still be 2 days before he could arrive. The matter at hand still had to be resolved. My dad pondered for a while and proposed to do a DNA test. Everything depends on the results of the DNA test. After all, no one knew whether this video had been modified by AI. Now AI technology is so powerful that it's not difficult to tamper with it. Chelsea Zhu saw that my mom was easier to talk to, so she knelt in front of my mom and cried bitterly. "Mom and Dad, do you not want me, you want that imposter? The evidence is already clear, but you still refuse to recognize me and insist on dragging things out to do a DNA test." Before things were completely clear, Chelsea Zhu could really be their child. So my parents couldn't say anything harsh and could only keep coaxing Chelsea Zhu. After Chelsea Zhu's emotions stabilized a little, we immediately went to the hospital to do a DNA test. The test report would be out in 2 days. When my mom asked where Wanda Lane was, Chelsea Zhu's face turned pale, and it took her a long time to squeeze out a sentence. "She died of illness a few months ago." Ryan Fong immediately applauded and said, "That's what she deserves." "Chelsea Zhu, don't be sad, she used to bully you so much, this is retribution." Looking at the two embracing, I felt a pang of bitterness in my heart. Ryan Fong was actually the person I had loved for 8 years? How could I have not noticed how hypocritical he was before? He was still saying sweet nothings to me a few days ago, but today he's saying harsh words to me. It's like he's a different person. Just because I might not be the heiress of Jiang Corporation, he immediately changed his mind. It's utterly ridiculous. I quickly adjusted my mood. No matter what the result was, I could accept it. After all, I had accumulated something even more important over the years, and that was my knowledge. Even without the Jiang family, I believed that I could start from scratch on my own. There was still 1 day before the test report came out, and my brother would be back tomorrow. As luck would have it, today was my birthday. I originally thought that this birthday would no longer be celebrated, but I didn't expect that my parents had already booked a hotel. Relatives and friends were already in place, waiting for me, the birthday star. I stood in front of the mirror, looking at my slightly tired self, and felt a mixture of emotions in my heart. But when I thought of my parents' good intentions, I really couldn't bear to disappoint them. So, I simply freshened up and hurriedly went to the hotel. Before entering the hotel, I received a congratulatory text message from my brother. "Ashley, happy birthday! Don't be afraid, you will always be my sister. I will give you a gift after I return." Looking at my brother's familiar and kind words on the screen, a warm current seemed to flow slowly through my heart. I took a deep breath and walked into the hotel. Not long after I sat down, there was a slight commotion at the entrance of the ballroom. I looked up and saw Chelsea Zhu intimately holding Ryan Fong's hand, walking in gracefully. The faces of the two were filled with happy smiles, chatting and laughing, and their gestures revealed incomparable intimacy. I lowered my head slightly, trying to ignore the probing eyes of everyone. But there were always a few tactless relatives who were still discussing loudly there. "Ashley, isn't Ryan your boyfriend?" Who is that woman next to him? Ashley, how did I hear that you're not your parents' biological daughter and that woman is? I opened my mouth, but before I could respond, Chelsea Zhu walked over with a smile on her face. Hello, uncles and aunts, I'm very happy that you can come to my birthday party. I'm Chelsea Zhu. Back then, at the maternity center, the maternity nurse accidentally switched me and Ashley Jiang. Actually, I'm the real daughter of the Jiang family. Ryan is my boyfriend now, I hope you don't get confused. After Chelsea Zhu finished speaking, she turned and walked towards the cake placed on the side. Chelsea Zhu picked up the cake knife and was about to cut a piece of cake for everyone, but at this moment, her movements suddenly froze. Because it was clearly written on the cake, "Happy Birthday Ashley," Chelsea Zhu said while choking, with a crying voice. It seems like I came at the wrong time and disturbed everyone's birthday celebration for Ashley Jiang. I was so excited when I received a call from my mom, I thought it was to celebrate my birthday. I didn't expect that I was just a joke. It's okay, everyone, don't mind me, I'm just a crybaby, I've been like this since I was a child, everyone is used to it. I've never had a birthday since I was a child. At home, my adoptive mother always gave Buddy the best food first. After Buddy finished eating, if there was any left, it would be my turn. Buddy is the dog raised at home. My adoptive mother doted on it so much, she treated it like her own son. When everyone heard this, they showed sympathy and hurriedly comforted her. Ryan Fong was even more distressed, he strode forward and hugged Chelsea Zhu tightly. He lowered his head and coaxed Chelsea Zhu softly in her ear. Then, he suddenly turned his head, his eyes instantly filled with anger, and glared at me fiercely. Ashley Jiang! Are you doing this on purpose? Ask yourself, Chelsea Zhu didn't even mind you coming here. And you're just taking advantage of it? How could I have not noticed how selfish you are before? It's fine that you only ordered one cake, but it even has your name on it? When the relatives and friends on the scene heard their conversation, combined with what Chelsea Zhu had said before, they naturally assumed that it had been confirmed that Ashley and Chelsea Zhu had been switched. So, they started to criticize me, and all kinds of nasty words came like a tide. What's wrong with this Ashley Jiang? She's been taking advantage of others for so many years, now that the real owner is back, this imposter should quickly give way. How would she be willing to give way? Look at the Jiang family, they are one of the richest merchants in Riverdale. She's clinging on desperately. Even if she can't eat meat, she can at least get some bones to gnaw on. This Ashley Jiang is really short-sighted. It's just a cake, order a few more to coax Chelsea Zhu, the real heiress of Jiang Corporation. If you make her happy, maybe she won't drive you away. Seeing that what they were saying was getting more and more unpleasant, my dad's face became extremely gloomy, and he slammed the table in anger. The test results haven't come out yet, Ashley has always been my Jiang family's daughter. If anyone says anything more, I don't mind having security kick her out. Let's celebrate the birthday first. My dad's voice was low and stern, and his gaze swept over everyone present. Chelsea Zhu, come over and sit down too. It was inconsiderate of me. I'll have someone send another cake over. When everyone heard that the person in charge of the Jiang family had said so, they didn't dare to say anything more and tactfully lowered their heads to eat in silence. There was still 1 hour before the test report came out. My brother David Jiang went straight to the hospital as soon as he got off the plane. As soon as David Jiang entered the hospital, he went straight to his parents, ignoring everything else, and asked anxiously, "Mom and Dad, what exactly is going on that you didn't explain clearly on the phone?" Chelsea Zhu raised her head, looked at David Jiang, her eyes were red, and she finally managed to choke out a cry, "Brother." David Jiang frowned immediately. "I only have one sister, Ashley. Who are you?" His tone was somewhat estranged, causing Chelsea Zhu's originally fragile emotions to collapse instantly, and she burst into tears again. "Don't you want to recognize me? I'm obviously your family, but you're all speaking up for that imposter. In that case, I don't want to be unwelcome here anymore, I'm leaving now." You don't have to wait for that test report either, just pretend that none of this ever happened. Ryan Fong couldn't stand it anymore. Bro, she's your own sister, how can you hurt her heart like this? You don't know how much suffering Chelsea Zhu has endured outside these years. So she's very sensitive now. After all these years, she finally found her family. Aren't you forcing her to a dead end by talking like this? The people around also gathered around, comforting Chelsea Zhu softly, handing her tissues and gently patting her back. It took a while before her emotions gradually stabilized. Mom then took out her phone, opened a video and handed it to her brother to watch. David Jiang, did you see someone switch your sister at the maternity center when you were a child? Brother David Jiang stared blankly at the little bean sprout following the maternity nurse in the video, trying hard to search his memory. I remember that there were only me and my sister in the room that day. Suddenly, a maternity nurse came over and said to me, let me play hide-and-seek with her, and if I won, she would give me candy. I secretly followed the maternity nurse, wanting to see where she was hiding, but she didn't hide, but carried my sister into a room. At that time, I saw that the room was dark, and I thought my sister must be scared. So I ran over and carried my sister back to my mom's room. But when I returned to my mom's room, I found a strange baby on my sister's bed. I wasn't happy at the time. Why should my sister's bed be given to others? So after I put my sister back on the bed, I took the strange baby away and gave it to the nurse. After listening to this, my parents were both angry and happy, and excitedly slapped the back of my brother's head. Dad widened his eyes and said in a trembling voice, so someone switched our Ashley, and as a result, this stinky boy switched Ashley back in confusion? After listening to the whole story, I was completely immersed in shock, and I felt that this was even more dramatic than a TV series. So I really am Mom and Dad's child? I still asked in disbelief, my voice with a trace of trembling and expectation. David Jiang rubbed the back of his head that had been hit, while still giving me a big eye roll. He curled his lips and said, take a good look at yourself in the mirror, your appearance is almost carved out of the same mold as Mom's. If you were to say you might not be Dad's child, I could almost listen, Dad said. But there's absolutely no doubt you're Mom's child, not even a question. Hearing this, Dad slapped his brother upside the head again, scolding loudly, you little brat, you're just talking nonsense. Here we were, our family chatting back and forth, the atmosphere gradually becoming cheerful. However, Chelsea Zhu seemed to have been greatly stimulated and screamed out, you're lying. That's absolutely impossible. Bro, are you deliberately helping Ashley Jiang to deceive people because you don't want me to go home? Why are you doing this to me? Why are you all speaking up for that imposter? Chelsea Zhu's voice became sharp and piercing due to extreme anger and despair. Her eyes stared fixedly at us, filled with resentment and unwillingness. Ryan Fong stood beside Chelsea Zhu, his face also full of suspicion, obviously not believing what David Jiang said. However, this time, he didn't rashly speak up for Chelsea Zhu without thinking, but just frowned and stood there quietly. Just then, Dad's phone in his pocket suddenly rang. Dad took out his phone and saw that it was a message from the maternity center. In fact, Dad had contacted the maternity center as soon as Chelsea Zhu came to the door, requesting them to retrieve the complete surveillance video from that year in order to clarify the truth. At this moment, Dad's fingers trembled slightly, his eyes filled with a hint of tension and anticipation. He slowly reached out and gently clicked the screen, opening the video in the chat box. With 10 minutes left until the test results came out, a group of us gathered around watching the video sent by the maternity center. The video showed the nanny, Wanda Lane, secretly swapping the two children when no one was around, but David Jiang accidentally switched them back. David Jiang handed the unfamiliar baby to the nurse, and the nurse, during her rounds, discovered that a child was missing from room 403, so she put the baby back where it belonged according to procedure. However, after all, this was footage from 20 years ago, and the picture was a bit blurry. The baby's small faces were almost impossible to make out clearly, but it gave me peace of mind. But Chelsea Zhu couldn't accept any of this. Her eyes widened, her eyes filled with disbelief, and she kept muttering, "This is impossible, this must be fake, I am your child." "Ryan, You believe me, right? They must be colluding to deceive me on purpose. They just can't bear to part with Ashley Jiang and are conspiring to fabricate lies to deceive me. Ryan, please help me. She cried out hoarsely, staggering towards Ryan Fong, clinging to him tightly, as if grasping at the last straw, desperately seeking comfort and support. However, Ryan Fong simply pulled her away with a blank expression. His eyes were cold and distant, as if the woman who was emotionally collapsing in front of him had nothing to do with him. No matter how Chelsea Zhu cried and pleaded, Ryan Fong remained unmoved, just standing there quietly. The test results finally came out. It was clearly printed in black and white that I was undoubtedly Dad and Mom's biological daughter. In stark contrast, there was no blood relationship between Chelsea Zhu and my parents. In an instant, Chelsea Zhu's body seemed to lose all support, and she collapsed to the ground, crying loudly. Impossible, the test report must be wrong. Wanda Lane clearly admitted it herself. She said she sent her own biological daughter to a wealthy family to live a good life. Just because I'm not her child, she has beaten and scolded me all these years. But now you're telling me that I'm actually her child? What about all the pain I've suffered all these years? I'm not your daughter, then whose daughter am I? She treated me so cruelly, how could she be my biological mother? If I had known it would be like this, I shouldn't have let her die so early. I should have let her see who her daughter really is. We really didn't want to listen to Chelsea Zhu's crazy talk anymore, and everyone got up to leave. Seeing this, Chelsea Zhu panicked. She scrambled to her feet, rushed towards Ryan Fong, grabbed his legs with both hands, and begged bitterly, "Ryan, don't leave me, I have nothing left now, you're all I have, please don't abandon me." Her voice became hoarse from excessive excitement. However, Ryan Fong didn't have the slightest pity. A look of disgust flashed across his face, and he pushed Chelsea Zhu away with force. Chelsea Zhu staggered and fell to the ground. Ryan Fong didn't even look at her, walked straight towards me, and then knelt down in front of me with a thump. "Ashley, I was wrong, I was really deceived by this bitch, please forgive me, you're so generous, please?" Looking at Ryan Fong's ugly face, I couldn't help but feel amused and angry. If he could have stayed with Chelsea Zhu through thick and thin, I might have thought better of him. My parents were even angrier than me and directly had someone beat him up. Dad was furious. "We don't need a weather vane like you in our company. You don't need to come to work anymore." I originally thought that Chelsea Zhu would come over and pester me, but things turned out to be beyond my expectations. She didn't do that. Later, I accidentally learned the truth. It turned out that Ryan Fong had reported to the police at the hospital, claiming that he had been attacked by a crazy woman. When the police arrived at the hospital, they saw Chelsea Zhu looking lost, crying and laughing. She really looked like a mentally deranged crazy woman, so the police, according to Ryan Fong's accusations, took Chelsea Zhu away as a mental patient. The next day, Ryan Fong showed up downstairs at my company, swaggering, with a large bouquet of vibrant flowers. When he saw me appear, he hurried forward. "Ashley, let's start over, okay? It was all my fault before, I couldn't recognize people and was deceived by that bitch, Chelsea Zhu. But don't worry, I have deeply reflected on myself. And I have completely reformed myself, so please give me another chance to make it up to you, okay?" As he spoke, he knelt down on one knee, pretending to be deeply in love, and then took out a sparkling ring from his pocket and held it up high. I stood there, coldly watching his series of disgusting performances. Thinking back to the past, whenever marriage was mentioned, Ryan Fong always used the excuse that his career had not yet been successful, and he put it off, saying that he would talk about starting a family after he had achieved success in his career. At that time, I was too naive and too innocent. I foolishly thought that it was a good thing that he had a strong sense of career and was full of admiration and expectation for him. But now, everything has been revealed. Belated affection is cheaper than grass, not to mention that everything he is showing now is not pure at all. He doesn't love me as a person, but my identity, status, and wealth behind me. I was completely disappointed in him and didn't even bother to say an extra word to him. I directly waved and called the security, watching them throw Ryan Fong and the flowers out rudely with a blank expression. He struggled to get up on the ground, still calling my name, but I walked into the office building without looking back. When I heard about Chelsea Zhu again, it was that she had stabbed Ryan Fong with a knife. It is said that the situation was extremely critical at the time, and Ryan Fong was rushed to the hospital. Fortunately, he was sent to the hospital in time, and he barely saved his life, but he suffered extremely serious injuries. That knife accurately hit a vital spot, causing him to be unable to perform sexually. As for Chelsea Zhu, she naturally could not escape the sanctions of the law after committing the crime. She was quickly arrested by the police for intentional injury, but the matter did not end there. As the police investigated further, a shocking case of her killing her biological mother was uncovered. It turned out that Wanda Lane had let it slip after getting drunk that Chelsea Zhu was not her biological daughter, but a child from a wealthy family who had been switched at the maternity center. In a heated argument, Chelsea Zhu, in a fit of anger, brutally murdered Wanda Lane and hid her in a cement bucket. After that, Chelsea Zhu tried her best to find the original maternity center in order to prove her so-called identity. She worked there as a janitor, lurking silently for several months. Finally, she successfully stole the surveillance video from 20 years ago. However, perhaps because she was too excited, she didn't watch the entire video. She only extracted the part where Wanda Lane switched the children and couldn't wait to find the Jiang family. In the end, Chelsea Zhu was sentenced to death for the unforgivable crimes of killing her biological mother, Wanda Lane, and causing injury and disability. Later, I learned about Ryan Fong from my husband. He couldn't accept the imperfection